Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Matri and today I'll be recommending you 10 animes that I think you should watch right away. And by right away I mean right after finishing this video because they are so good and you are going to love them so much. This is basically part 2 of my top 5 anime recommendations, only that this time I will be recommending you 10 animes. How amazing is this that I have watched 10 animes after that video and 5 of them are series and 5 of them are movies. I mean, it's all meant to be. I'll first be recommending you the 5 movies that I have on my list and then I'll be recommending you the 5 series that are also on my list. Let's go. So the first movie that I want to recommend you is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I know. The first time that I heard this name, I was like, what? I was like, how could this be a romance movie? But if it is not a romance movie, it is one of the most beautiful romantic animes I have ever seen. So this is basically the story of a boy and a girl. The boy is like very aloof, he doesn't talk to so many people, he's on his own, he's isolated, and this girl is basically a ray of sunshine. But she is suffering from a rare pancreatic illness. Now, I am not going to tell you what I Want to Eat Your Pancreas mean because I want you to figure it out when you watch it. It's so beautiful. They both meet. The girl has not told anybody about her illness, but for some reason, she decides to tell him. The relationship grows, things happen, they fall in love with each other, and it is a beautiful, beautiful movie that you will absolutely enjoy. Please watch it, it's so good. My second recommendation is Weathering with You. Now, it might be possible that you have watched some of these movies because they are so popular and I am still a newbie to this whole world. So I am basically still watching the most hyped animes of all time, but maybe there are some that you haven't watched, so stick around to find out. But Weathering with You is basically the story about this girl who can control the weather. Yes, she can control the weather and she meets this guy. They are both trying to find work and in that they meet each other at a time when there is heavy rainfall in Tokyo, and when the boy discovers this superpower of this girl, he tells her to control the weather for him. They both grow close, they fall in love with each other, and then again so much happens. It's a beautiful movie. I don't want to spoil it for you in any way, but it's worth the watch and the aesthetics are top notch. My next recommendation is Josee, the Tiger and the Fish. Now don't ask me why is it the name of the movie because I genuinely don't remember, but I remember watching this movie, one of the most beautiful romance movies again. By now you know my taste. I love romance movies, I love romance books, but this is basically the story of this girl who has not seen the outside world because she can't walk and she lives with her grandmother. She meets this guy when her grandmother is taking her to her morning or evening walk. They become acquaintances. He comes to his home for some reason. I think he's helping them or something, and he decides to make all her wishes come true. He decides that he will take her wherever she wants to visit. They go to places, they fall in love with each other, and it's so heartwarming, so good, so full of hope. I love it so much. My next recommendation is this science fiction movie called Hello World. I recently watched this movie and it's a romance, drama, slice of life combined with science fiction. Basically, this guy from 2017, he revisits the year 2020 or 2022 to correct a mistake that happened in the past. So he basically revisits from future because apparently the technology has evolved so much that they can now visit the past. It's all stored in data and there is a lot of science fiction aspect to it, but he comes back and he wants to correct that mistake. Of course, there's a love story and one of the most beautiful love story. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I just went blind into it and I was pleasantly surprised because the characters are so cute, not only in the way they look, but in the way they are. They are book lovers. They love reading. There are so many moments related to that and it's just heartwarming. The moments are so precious. You have to watch it. The last movie on this list is A Silent Voice. This is basically a high school anime. Our main character is this girl who has hearing disability, and therefore she is bullied a lot in school or wherever she goes, especially by this guy who is the male lead of the movie. She is bullied so much that she eventually changes the school. Years pass and some things happen in the boy's life which make him go back and find that girl in the hopes of redemption. He wants to apologize. Now you have to watch the anime to see what happened and what happens when he meets her again, and if she forgives him or not, and so much more. The first series that I want to recommend is a new series that has recently become my comfort show, and that is Haikyuu. Haikyuu basically means volleyball in English, and as the name suggests, it is a story about volleyball and dreams and hopes. There's this guy, his name is Hinata, and he sees this little giant on TV who is short in height, but he plays volleyball so well. And Hinata is short in height, and when he sees him playing, something changes in him and he wants to be Little Giant. Volleyball is his dream, his passion, his life, but apparently height is very important in volleyball. But this is the story about how he overcomes that, how he never looks on the negative side of things, how he eventually becomes the one to stay the longest on the court. I have not finished it yet. I am on the second season, but oh my god, it is definitely an anime that can become your comfort anime. It's so good. It might not seem tempting to you if you are not into volleyball, if you are not interested, but don't think that. It is not just about volleyball, it is about life in general and so much more. And even if you are not a fan of volleyball, either you will be after watching it or you will not care because the story is so good. My next recommendation is Tokyo Revengers. It's amazing to have friends who watch anime because then they introduce you to the best animes out there. This is one of them. This was so out of my league, but I watched it and I loved it thoroughly. So this is basically very gangster types and delinquents, and there are biker gangs. I don't know how to explain it, but these are all students who are 12, 13, 14 years, but they act like they are 25 years because of how brave they are, because of how they talk about killing each other like it's no big thing. But it is created in such an interesting way. Our lead character has lived an uneventful life, except that 1 year in his school life that he doesn't remember. One day he sees the news about his girlfriend and his only girlfriend being attacked due to this riot, this conflict between two gangs. That shakes him up. He goes to the railway station for some reason, and just before someone pushes him on the track where the train is coming, he is saved, and in a flash he is back in time 12 years earlier to that very day when he and his girlfriend were still dating. So yes, he can time travel and he decides to be a part of this gang. He decides to be the head of this gang if it means that he will be able to save his girlfriend in the future. And that's how the story goes. It is very interesting. It is full of action, so much drama, so much happens. It's amazing. The next series that I want to recommend is Snow White with the Red Hair. I watched a few episodes of this and then I read its manga, and that is the first manga I have ever read, and it was such a fun experience. I now know that mangas are read from right to left because I tried once and I could not understand how to read it, how to go about it, so I just left it. But I read the first whole volume of this one and it was so good. I know the anime is good as well because I have watched some episodes, but for some reason, I don't know why I left it. I started watching something else or something. But this is basically the story of this girl who has red hair, as the title suggests. The prince of their kingdom is attracted by her red hair and he wants to make her his concubine. I don't know if that's the word, but she doesn't want to be his concubine, if that's the word. So she flees his kingdom, she flees the village that they live in. In that, she meets this guy named Zen, who turns out to be, okay, I won't tell you that. You will find out who he turns out to be, because that is a huge part of the starting plot and I don't want to reveal that. I really like the female character. I really like Zen. I really like their chemistry. They are so cute. There is such good comedic timing. The premise, the setting, everything is just so refreshing, and them falling in love with each other is one of the most beautiful things ever. My next recommendation is Yona of the Dawn. Again, a series that has princes and kingdom and all that stuff. Yona is basically the princess of this kingdom, and she has lived all her life in a safe shadow of her father. But on one night, something happens because of which she has to flee her kingdom with her bodyguard. They go on to find these dragons, blue dragon, white dragon. There is this whole quest going on. At the same time, her boyfriend, his name is Huck, and he is absolutely in love. He's absolutely whipped by Yona, and Yona is slowly falling for him as well. I have only watched half of this anime. I am yet to continue, but it is a beautiful anime. It has a beautiful female character. She's strong, she's determined, and her bodyguard Huck is the hottest anime character ever. My next recommendation is an anime that I am currently watching, and it's called Fruits Basket. I can't say much about it because I'm just on the 11th episode, but I have heard so many good things about it, so many people loving it, and so far I am loving it as well. This is basically a story that encompasses the zodiac signs, that is the cat, the dog. I don't know which zodiac signs they are, but I'm just going with it. And basically, if I tell you, I'll just ruin the first episode for you. So I'm not going to tell you, don't get annoyed. But this girl, her name is Tohru. She ends up moving with the Somas, who are in the same class as her, and one more older member in the family, and they end up living together. And there is this love triangle kind of thing. Not really a love triangle, but both the male characters are in love with this girl. Not in love yet, but they are both positively affected by her, and I think there will be that kind of thing. What is it called if it's not called a love triangle? I don't know what it's called, but the male characters are both going to fall in love with her, which is what I think. But so far it's really good, it's really positive, uplifting, and there are so many things that the character have said that make so much sense. So many life lessons given in a very casual way, and it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful, and there are about 3 seasons if I'm not wrong, and I'm very interested to watch it. So yeah, those were all my anime recommendations. 10 animes for you to watch, unless if you have watched some of them already. But yeah, let me know which is your favorite anime of all time, and if you have watched some of these, do you like them? I would love more recommendations always, and I'll see you again very, very soon with another video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and lots of love.